Ask them to come up. Julie is going to be speaking first. I want to play a real quick video. So let's give a round of applause for Julie Higgins.
Hi, good morning. Blake, I don't know where you went, but thank you for inviting us to speak, and there you are. But most importantly, for believing that we have something to share. It's really sweet. Jason and I both will address this topic of old world craft and its relevance and importance in our lives today. Our creative stories are different. How we came to be artists and what we create every day is different. I'm a painter, he's a print finisher. He's really serious about precision, and I love the beauty of imperfection. But what we have in common really is the foundation of our relationship, and we have been friends for 25 years. And this concept of becoming masterful in our chosen fields is riveting to both of us. We share a deep commitment to hold ourselves to a certain standard creatively. And we know we're in it for life. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So neither one of us covets fame or fortune. If we covet anything, it's to be great at something. And we're both fortunate. We come from artistic families that made things by hand, so we know the enormous value of handmade. It's my paintbrushes. So we have a respect for labor and the time it takes to make something properly. And we know the warmth of things made by hand. Our families, as well as our generation, forced us to be industrious. So if something's going to be hard to accomplish or time-consuming, I get it that there's going to be a payoff for those efforts. And on my painting apron, I have this Latin phrase that means with claw and beak. And really, it's my motto when I'm in the studio. It means that, I'm going to fight like hell for my art, and I'm going to give it my all and not ever give up, no matter how much rejection. And if you know anything about the art world, it is full of rejection. So I can't imagine a world without handcrafts. I believe there will always be people who will love and support artists who are pursuing excellence in their work. People do yearn for a certain quality that's achieved by making something slowly. True craftsmanship will always survive. It brings something to the world that's really lacking in mass-produced, overly produced items. But I can see that craftsmanship is more popular at certain times, or it thrives, the love for it, and now really is one of those times. So Jason and I have a 1963 Beetle named Rosebud, and she's the cutest car in the world. But for those of you not familiar with the 1941 film, Citizen Kane, Rosebud is the final word of a man who was very poor as a child, became super wealthy through the ruthless pursuit of power. And it's revealed in the end of the film that Rosebud was the name of his sled when he was a kid. And the moral of the story is that no matter your success in life, or no matter his success in life, the thing that, his dying word was the name of something he loved in childhood, something really simple, something completely classic. And that meant, a lot to him when he was young. So, things that are classic and simple are powerful, and never doubt that, no matter if it seems untrue at times. So that's my little studio. All of us here are crafting something. You might not be like me, working away in a little studio with paints and brushes, but as a creative, you are crafting something. I'm not a master painter, but the idea of one day becoming a masterful painter is my North Star. I just move towards that every day. One of the biggest considerations I make, or my biggest considerations when I make a work of art, is longevity. From the choices that I make regarding materials to the aesthetic choices I make, I want the work to live long after me. And the passion that I have for my work is strong, ongoing, and natural, and it's never forced, and I'm really lucky that way. So in preparation for this talk, I asked myself the question, what drives me to want to become masterful? And the answer was simple, easy, and it boils down to one thing. I just want to be proud of myself. As some of you might know, the printing industry has long been male-dominated. And in August, I attended the Ladies of Letterpress conference in Asheville, and it was wonderful. And these rooms were full of young women, entrepreneurs, who are running letterpress shops all over this country. So these women are running antique Vandercooks and C&Ps and Heidelbergs every day, and they're making a living. They're feeding their families, running these print shops. And many of them have designed their own lines of stationery. But it was a true testament that old world craft is thriving today. And not to mention that they've changed the entire face of the printing world. With this new generation of female printers. It's amazing. And at Ladies of Letterpress, they have a saying that is, we are dedicated to the proposition that a woman's place is in the print shop. I really love that. So 2 years ago, I got married for the first time. Yes, I was an over 40 bride. But I left my job in the art world, and I went to work with Jason at Henry & Company. I was quite familiar with print finishing already. I had run a Kluge in my 20s. The Henrys had given me work when I was a starving artist, and Jason had showed me how to do full stamping, which is amazing that anyone would train me on a machine like that. But I also was familiar with letterpress printing. I was already using a Vandercook to make art with, so I was new to working with graphic designers, though. And it was a wonderful surprise for me. And it's been a pleasure to work with, and I've had the pleasure of working with the most creative and talented, intuitive, and soulful people. Thank you for taking your job so seriously and for loving what you do. And what's going on with your group creatively right now is really exciting, so I hope you feel it. I hope you know it. And I do strongly believe that your intention is to change the world for the better, and that's what true artists do. So that was the image that was supposed to go with that last segment. That is the row of Kluges. That's the machine that I first ran at Henry & Company a long time ago. So I'm going to leave you with a quote by Louis Nizer that is really beautiful. And he who works with his hands is a laborer, and he who works with his hands and his head is a craftsman. He who works with his hands, his head, and his heart is an artist. And I love this visual, and thank you, Tila Cunningham, for putting the visuals together for us. And what she did here is she took a photograph of, cute. She took a photo, or I took a photograph of my grandfather's T-square, which is something that I use every day in my studio. And she arranged this quote around, and I think it's really beautiful. So thanks, Tila. Yeah. So I'm going to turn it over to Jason. I just want to say a couple of things about him. He is my husband, and he is my best friend. But he's also an amazing artist. He inspires me to be a better artist every day. But also, he has the heart of an artist. He has the soul of an artist, and he has the mind of an artist. So I just really admire him. And I would, even if I wasn't married to him, I would look up to him. So I'm going to give you now Jason Henry.
Thanks for that, Julie. Thank all you for being here. I'm going to take you on a short journey of a very long process. Growing up, I always made things out of paper. I can remember as far back as elementary school being in art class and just loving the feel of construction paper. I don't know where that paper went to, but it was like cloth. I just loved it. But at the age of 14, I went to work for my father. He was a master print finisher and die builder. He told me if I followed his lead, he could make me the best at this craft. And by doing that, I would always have work, and I could work anywhere in the world. So this having a job really sounded good, because who really wants to be out looking for a job? So I was buying into it. What I didn't know is I was getting involved with the most traditional form of apprenticeship. I mean, you started from the ground floor, sweeping the floor, helping and assist other craftsmen. And it was a lengthy process. I had no idea how long this was going to take. Once I was involved in it, he showed me a book. It was a guideline for apprenticeship in the printing industry from the 1950s. There was a section that I was going to have to follow. It was about loading paper in a machine for 2 years. 2 years. I'm a teenager. I'm thinking this is crazy. That's like a lifetime. Being young, we want it fast. We want everything overnight. It's sometimes hard to find people these days that want to come in and learn, but also don't want to try and run the company within a year. So it was a great process. But by doing this, by loading that paper, there was a lesson that they didn't put in the guideline. And the lesson that I didn't realize until doing this is that my hands became a tool. We handled so much paper, so many variations and textures and qualities. My hands basically became a micrometer. It was 10-point paper, 24-point paper, 18-point paper. So there was the lessons that you never really realize until you're in it if you take that time that's given to you. I do have to check these. So I'm going to jump forward a little bit of things that were happening in the 80s and 90s. People with a trade, they were booming. They were so busy, they barely could keep up with work. And this was just widespread. Whatever trade you were in, handmade. And so there was so much business, we barely could keep up with it. And this was all by word of mouth. There was no advertising. And then into the 90s, things started to slow down. Weren't quite sure why, but in my industry, I started looking at the campaigns that were for going paperless. The technology for digital printing was moving forward quickly. And then, of course, there was the computer. In 1999, I remember going down Juniper Street, and I looked up and there was a billboard that read, "E-invite." And it said, "What do you want? Engraved invitation?" And I said, "Hell yes, I do. We want an engraved invitation, right?" You're going to have to give me a minute because I completely forgot about it. Here we are today. So I'm jumping forward to today. Today, the custom invitation, I believe, is more important than ever. And it speaks to you about the event. It speaks volumes. It speaks to you about the event, and it speaks volumes about the person hosting the event in the custom invitation. For me personally, when I receive something like this in the mail, it feels like a gift, something you can open and hold and take your time with. I did see a package that was done that was just amazingly designed and crafted and executed, and it came in the mail to clients. And it was so beautiful you could think of Apple packaging. We all love how flawless this packaging is. Guess who this package was from? It came in the mail. It was from Facebook. So what was happening? We were starting to see a reemergence in handmade. The handmade was getting more and more popular. And something was happening. What was it? It's obvious to me that something was missing. Everything these days seems to be disposable, quickly made, cheaply made. People were getting tired of things that broke. There's a new consumer out there that is more educated, wants things that's built better, and also is better designed. And that, of course, is what a lot of you work on every day. The old saying's coming back, you get what you pay for. The old idea of having fewer things of better quality. I see that every day. So quality, not quantity. People used to come to our shop and say, "You're a hidden treasure." That was nice to hear because we like the word treasure, but to be hidden treasure, I didn't think that was going to keep us in business too long. So here we go. We can't be hidden anymore. We have to be out there. And thanks to the internet, the computer, folks like yourself that are gaining such interest in this, we can share our work with the world. For the craftsmen today to thrive, they must utilize this technology. There was a time that it was a real struggle to get involved with it from where we came from. But as you people know, what you're doing with web and creative and sharing items that's really just promoting the whole thing. There's a whole new breed out there that I see. They're in their 20s and 30s. It's one thing, they want to learn from masters in the trade, but they also have the tools to move them along more quickly. They definitely, I've been told this and I really liked it, they definitely have a passion to do things better than the people before. And I know several people in this crowd that are in that category that are doing great, great work. And I love being around that. People 20 years younger than me that are just so passionate about getting it right and what can we do to make it better. So, another part is, I believe that people in general want to slow down. The pace we're expected to keep in business and in our communications can be a bit stressful. For me personally, my creative process is slow. It takes me time to think through all the possibilities, the materials, the techniques, the applications. I find some of the best designers today, they get involved with the process. This didn't used to happen in the past. They really get involved with the process. I would recommend to any designer out there to do that. Get involved with the process, find out how things are produced. By doing that, you will see what kind of time it takes to create the product, to create a really nice product. I used to hear saying a lot that I don't hear anymore, and thank goodness, and I hope most people in this room don't hear it, and it was, I need it yesterday. Just get it done, please. I need it yesterday. Well, it's nice that that's going away and people are realizing how long things take to be done properly. I'd like to share a few photos with you. This is some great work going on in Atlanta today. This is a piece produced by Mike Kiley. He is a master in leatherwork, paying attention to every detail. He's doing these guitar straps that I find just incredible, and the demand is, it's reaching out into the world. People are really demanding these things. There's one thing about this that I love, is you'll only need one. It's built for a lifetime. That to me is really nice that we don't have to go through disposable. Here's some work from Christy Hyde, who is doing handmade jewelry. Again, the attention to every single detail is amazing to me. The amount of work that's put into every piece, I mean, as you know, you just can't find this mass-produced. It's not possible. And you can feel it. I love it that way. But both of these people that I'm showing you here today are using the highest quality of materials. And they're also taking the time to do it right. That is what our world's about, taking time to do it right. This is the craftsman. They see no point in doing a job unless they can do it well. And also, the heart is in everything they do. Something you may not know as designers, when you hand over a design to someone like myself, it brings huge joy, because that's what we do. We see these designs and we can't wait to be a part of it. So you are the ones that we just want to give you back the finest product from your vision. I love it how it works. Here's your vision, hand it over, and we will try to hold to the standards that you would expect. So why is Craftsman thriving today? The answer is because of you. Keep demanding the very best. By doing that, you are going to keep the movement alive. I'm going to close it up right now, but to say, I think if you find the chance to close your computers and make something by hand, it's really good for the soul. Thank you.